Ever since the major success of Oppenheimer in 2023, people have been clamoring to find out what Christopher Nolan's next film was going to be. The anticipation got so bad that people even got to the point where they started making up what his next film was going to be about. Who came up with this? Eventually, we were told what Christopher Nolan's next film was going to be about, and it was exciting. The Odyssey is one of the oldest stories to have ever been told. It has been adapted countless times, ranging from films such as Troy and Brother, Where Art Thou, to even the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And I'm not joking about that last one, you can look it up. Back in July, I was incredibly fortunate enough to see Christopher Nolan's adaptation of The Odyssey in IMAX 70mm. And right off the bat, this is one of the greatest viewing experiences of any film I've seen in a cinema ever. The whole theater was filled with people who have come across not only just Europe, but the world to see this film in this format. In case you didn't know, this is the first full-length feature film to ever be shot entirely with IMAX cameras. Nolan has always been a big fan of the IMAX format and has used it in films starting with The Dark Knight. Just before I get into the review, I just want to say that I've seen this film twice now, once in IMAX 70mm and the other just in a regular Dolby Cinema. You do not need to see this film in IMAX to be able to enjoy it. Yes, it enhances the experience, but it is not a requirement. You can still enjoy this film at a regular cinema, but if you have the means to, or patience to wait for seats to become available in an IMAX theater, I would recommend seeing this in IMAX, but if that isn't an option for you, then a regular cinema is just as good. Man, what a film though. I thought that this was a spectacular piece of cinema and it will more than likely be talked about for years to come. Everything from Nolan's directing through the use of mostly practical effects to Hoyte van Hoytema's beautiful cinematography, and how can I forget about Ludwig Göransson, my goat, outstanding score. Everything just works perfectly in synchronization with one another. Right off the bat, Matt Damon will more than likely win an Oscar for this performance. The way he plays Odysseus with such a commanding and arrogant nature at the start of the film, to then slowly and subtly shift to a wiser, more battle-hardened soldier, is just perfect. The siren scene alone should win that man an Oscar this year. Anne Hathaway has had an incredible year so far, and The Odyssey is no exception. She plays Penelope in a way that really made me care about what was happening to her and around her, and I believe she will more than likely be put up for Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars this year for this performance as well. After watching Robert Pattinson in this film as well, it just solidified even more to me why he is one of my favorite actors of all time. His character Antinous is such an evil, manipulative scumbag, and he plays him exactly like that. I've been seeing people online talk a lot about his role and this portrayal of it and how hated he is as a character, and quite frankly for a good reason. And none of that, in my opinion, would be possible without Rob's amazing performance in this film. He's done some fantastic performances just from this year alone, and there's only more to come with Primetime, which I'm really eager to see as well. I've only known Tom as Spider-Man and Nathan Drake, and John as Sid the Sloth from Ice Age and a minor character in John Wick, so to see them in quite demanding roles with a heavy screen presence was great. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this film before it came out due to Nolan's casting of Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy and Elliot Page as Sinan. And after seeing the film now twice, I disagree entirely with those criticisms, especially the ones that are rooted in bigotry and racism. I think people forget that this is a Christopher Nolan adaptation of The Odyssey, and nothing will ever be truly what Homer, who was the original author of the Odyssey and the Iliad, envisioned when he was writing the Odyssey over 2,000 years ago. Nolan cast these two actors because he saw that they could play those roles well And they did just that. There was some gorgeous cinematography by Hoyte van Hoytema that was really elevated by the IMAX screen for me. You could tell that every shot was well planned and thought out before Chris even called action, and that was more than likely due to the film being shot on IMAX 70mm film. It really took advantage of the whole screen to show this sheer size and scale of ancient Greece to Odysseus' soldiers, as well as the smaller, quieter moments between a father and son when they were talking and making up for lost time at the end of the film. The score for this film was done by three-time Oscar winner, should be more in my opinion, Ludwig Göransson, and he's coming for his fourth because this soundtrack is incredible. I can't even begin to fathom how he came up with this music for this film. When you're watching the film, there are so many moments that would just not hit anywhere near as hard as they do without this score. The standouts to me, particularly in this soundtrack, are the siren theme and the trial of the bow theme at the end, and I'll never ever forget watching those moments for the first time and hearing those beautiful scores come over those fantastic scenes. In recent years, Nolan seems to really love to focus on men who have made a significant change in history, whether that be Oppenheimer with the atomic bomb after the Trinity test, or Odysseus with the Trojan horse in the invasion of Troy. Both of Nolan's last films grapple with this idea and how these two men have to suffer the actions from their choices that they've made, and I really enjoyed seeing that. It wasn't something that I was expecting from a Greek myth such as this, but it fit the narrative and themes of this film incredibly well. The invasion of Troy was where this theme in particular really came to light and was the big culmination of the film and all its themes. And I got a little emotional during that scene, actually. It reminded me a lot of the scene in Oppenheimer where Oppenheimer was talking to the Los Alamos residents after they dropped the atomic bomb on Japan. Everything in the invasion of Troy just worked perfectly together, and it's an unforgettable moment that has to be experienced on the big screen. I really get the feeling that Nolan wants to direct a horror film in the future at some point, because there are so many moments in this film which lend themselves to the horror genre. The Cyclops scene and the body horror scene with Cersei are two that come to mind, and they were incredibly memorable for me. The use of practical effects and clever camera trickery took those horror-esque moments up to 11 and shocked me quite a bit, because I wasn't expecting them to be like that at all, and I would love to see a horror film directed by Nolan in the future. This film is a technical achievement and a cinematic masterpiece. It will go down as one of the best films this year, and certainly one of the best films this decade. Whilst I still prefer Oppenheimer over the Odyssey, this is a near perfect film for me, and it's what the cinema experience is all about, and I enjoyed the hell out of this film, and I highly recommend everyone to watch it. What are your thoughts on the Odyssey? If you haven't seen it, are you going to go see it? Let me know also what your favorite Christopher Nolan film is in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.